Hey YouTube, FlakJacket1000, and on today's update I'll be showing you how to make the slide release and the barrel link in there. And okay, so I won't go too much, I mean there's not too much in the what they do. I always like to start with kind of the function of all of the pieces I'm making. So for the slide release, the name pretty much says it all. Whenever you have a slide on, and I'll use this toy slide to demonstrate. Whenever the slide, whenever the last round is fired, and the slide goes back. Oh, hold on. Let me get that back on there. Okay. Whenever the round is fired and the slide goes back, and it's the last round, this little bitty ridge right there on the follower will push up internally on the slide release right there, and you can see internally the little part that's sticking out on the slide release. It's moving up and down there, and the magazine will actually push up on that. You can see as the follower in there pushes up on it when there's no round in there. And the reason why it doesn't push up on it when the round's in there is because you can see the tip of the round is the bullet is round, so when it's in there, let me just put it in there and I'll show you. When it's in there, you can see how the round barely misses the slide release right there, and the follower is below the round, so it's not even far enough up to push that the slide release. So you can see it barely misses right there. There we go. So that's how the slide release works. By the last round being fired, and then the follower pushing up on the slide release, and then you'll see when it's pushed up, it'll go into the slide catch groove. Which this one's, I didn't cut it right. It would be cut right if I had a little triangle piece on top there, but I don't. But it still works a little bit, and you push down and it goes forward. But so that's the slide release. I think that's pretty basic, easy to understand. And so let me take out the slide release, push on that little knob, take it out, and then I'll take out the barrel link right there. The barrel link, what that does is when the barrel is attached to it, it allows the barrel to pivot backwards and down so that it unlocks from the slide, because there'll be little grooves in the slide that lock into the barrel, and this just allows the barrel to pivot over and down to unlock from the slide. So that's pretty simple, and the link just sits in that little groove that you make when you're making the frame, right in there. And so anyway, I didn't take too long explaining those. But the slide release, how you make that is you start with the blueprints like always, and you're gonna print out the actual view. It took me 50% zoom to do it, and I found out something. You can pretty much tell. See, it says scale 2 to 1 at the bottom. Usually for me, that always means 50% printout. If it said scale 1 to 2, then it'd be the opposite, but 2 to 1, it'd be 50% zoom. And then you can find out other things like on the barrel link, the scale says 4 to 1 down there, and so I figured that's normally around 27% on when I do it with my Mac. So we're going to start off with, on the slide release, you start off with that outside view, and You're gonna cut it. You just follow the lines, go up, and then cut it off right there and go around. Leave this part off for this first part you're making. So it's just the outside part, and then you layer that outside part together. Well, not the most outside ridge, but you can see right here on the drawing I made, this is the part you're making at first. This little part, which is 0.081 inches, which is about 16 pieces of that. And you're going to layer those together. And then the outside little piece that your thumb grabs onto, that's going to be 0.119 inches, 23 pieces around there. And to do that, you just get the blueprints and then just cut out that outside area right there and layer all those together. And then when you're done layering those, it's going to be square, and you're just going to get a file and then just grind it until you get the shape that you want. You don't have to get it the exact shape that this shows, where it kind of comes to a point. If you want, you can make it more rounded, like I did. I might change it to the point, but right now I just have it sort of rounded. And then that angled part right there. Yeah. And then for the part that goes inside, that came out a little bit different for me than what this said. This says for this middle part that's connecting the actual part that hits the follower, this connecting part right here in the middle, it says it's going to be 0.066, about 13 pieces of paper. But if I did that, then it would be too short and it wouldn't go all the way to the inside right there. So I just kept on layering it until I saw that it was going to be the correct length, so that the little catch there would be able to go inside and barely miss. And also I angled it. I got well, I just kept on stacking and then I cut off at an angle. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right there, I cut it off at an angle. You can see how that's sort of at an angle right there. Yeah, you can see it's an angle. And so that's what I did to do that part. Do the middle part that connects that. I'm having trouble. I don't have a name for it really. I just call it the piece that grabs onto the follower, magazine follower. Right there, that part is what I'm talking about. It's going to be 1.132 inches, about 26 pieces, and on that you just keep on layering it, and it's going to be square, and then you just cut it off to be. You can make it to that shape, but all I did was I made it flat. And see, it's just kind of flat, but it's enough to where the follower will grab onto it though. And on these blueprints, it doesn't have a triangle piece that sticks off the side right there to lock into that triangle piece. Instead, it's just the actual piece itself is going to go up into that notch instead of an extra triangle piece going up in there like some blueprints say, which that'll work. That's fine. And then for the last part of this is the pin that sticks out of it. And what I did for that, that's probably the most complicated part of it. I had these pins, long pins, that are rods that I got from Lowe's, and they're just in the project section by Hillman, and it's just assorted pin rods, and I just got one of the smallest ones, and I might still have it in here. Oh. Yeah, so I got this small one, and then as you see the blueprint say, the rod, the pin is going to be 0.87 in length. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a strip of paper cut that's about 0.867 in length. When I say length, I guess it's width from there to there. And all you're going to do is get that and make sure it's as straight as you can get it, and it doesn't really matter where you start on the rod. Just just glue that on there, and then just start wrapping it around, and make sure it's pretty straight when you do that, and just start wrapping it around and gluing as you go. Well, make sure it's straight each time you wrap it. And it didn't take that many wraps to get it to the correct width, or the diameter, I'm sorry. And the diameter is 0.2005. So just get it somewhere around there. Use your calipers, and as you go, get your calipers and just measure it. And you know, it's just pretty simple to do that. So you'll be left with a rod in the middle of it, that rod. And then the part of the rod that's sticking out, say you have it made, and then you have a piece of the rod that's sticking out. Get the rod and curve it to an L shape. And this is actually kind of optional to do this, but it keeps it reinforced. As you see here, I have a picture of the rod going through the middle, and then the little L-shaped part that is going to extend partly into this piece, this part of it, and the L is going to go in through here. So you just cut a little notch in a groove for the rod to go through, and that'll keep it from just the rod turning itself, and it'll allow this whole piece to go with it and reinforce it. And the way I lined the rod up with the rest of it is I stuck the rod through the hole that I drilled, and then I stuck this in there, and then I put some glue on the rod and just lined this up with the rod. And the little knots you cut, and then I let it dry a little bit and then pull it out gently, and then reinforce the edges of it with glue, super glue, and baking soda to make sure that it actually stays in there. And then you could, if you want, put some glue right there. Drill a hole and put some glue, like I did. Let's see. I think that's all for this piece. And you might end up being too long, but it needs to be a little bit longer than this piece in order for the knob to be sticking out, so you can push it out to disassemble. Next, the barrel link is going to be pretty simple. You just get the blueprints, which, like I said, it was 27% for me on the barrel link on my Mac, and you just cut that piece out many times. You can copy it, and then I explain that in other videos. And then the thickness of it is going to be 0.136, which is about 27 pieces of paper. And then the way it assembles is you're going to sit this in here, in that little notch. I'll take that out first. It's going to assemble in there. It's kind of hard because it keeps on moving. I'll get that for you. So just line it up with the hole where you think. It keeps on falling. I'll get it. Hold on. Okay, I got it. Now it's lined up with the hole. And now just get the pin and put it through. And you can see it's going through there. And then just line up that with that hole. Push it in. And then there you go. And there you go. You have the barrel link and your slide release done. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. And stay tuned for next update. Thanks for watching.